And thank you so much for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. My name is Colleen Warren, and on the next screen, I'll show our slides for Lindsay and myself. But we are here to talk to you about assistive technology. And we're going to make this kind of a fun way to discuss assistive technology and helping students with IEP. And so we're going to go over the top 5 myths about assistive technology. Joining me today is Lindsay Huntley. She is going to be a part. Lindsay, you want to come off mute and introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Huntley. I go by she and her, and I've been serving as the AT supervisor since 2015 and have been part of this wonderful central AT team since 2005. My area of specialty is augmentative and alternative communication. So I am a believer that everybody deserves access to their voice. And I have experience in special education since 2000. I've been working for New York City public schools, and I am the parent of two sons, both with disabilities, one 9 and one 14.
Thank you, Lindsay. And I forgot to introduce myself fully. My name is Colleen Warren. I am originally a physical therapist. I am now the director of the Central AT team. My pronouns are she, her. And I've been serving as director since 2018. My experience with the New York City public schools is since 1997. So when I was like really little, I'm also a product of the New York City public schools. I graduated out of elementary, middle, and high school out of the New York City public schools. I do have two daughters with disabilities. My oldest one is she's 17, going to be 18, and my younger one is 12 years old. So here is our agenda for tonight. We are first going to go over the different types of assistive technology. We're going to define what is assistive technology. We will review with you what accessibility tools and instructional technology are currently available for all students to access, and what to do when you're ready or if you have questions about considering assistive technology. So what are the next steps that you can take? So in this slide is something we just wanted to highlight for you. This is a public-facing document that was released in January of 2024 by the United States Department of Education. And it is called The Myths and Facts Surrounding Assistive Technology Devices and Services. And it's something you can search by going on the internet to type in US DOE guidance, myths and facts, assistive technology, and this article should pop up. This is a really great article, and this is the article that I've used to provide the information shared with us. And it's something that can empower you as parents. In addition, I believe they have like a game on their website that you can also use on their website to try out, okay, about the myths and the facts about assistive technology. So let's get started. We're going to dive in. Myth number one, AT, which is also assistive technology, always involves an electronic device and is always high tech. So this is a really common myth that we see, right, and with our team, and that everyone assumes assistive technology is just something that is high tech, when in fact, most assistive technology devices are high tech, but many low tech tools, such as highlighters, post it notes, or visual aids, are just as important. AT devices or tools may be computer, but we cannot forget and not consider the binder clip squishy balls. And we want to stress this because low tech is oftentimes a backup assistive technology tool for the student. Life happens. We lose power, we lose internet, the battery may go dead, there's technical issues, etc. Having a backup assistive technology low tech tool ready to go to support the student is really important.
So, Colleen, your
Yes.
daughter uses an AAC device, a communication device, an eye gaze.
Yes.
So, what do you use for low or mid tech for her in case there's a power outage or you're out and about and you can't have her device with you?
Yes. Yeah, thank you for asking, Lindsay. So when
Hello,
that happens, oops.
excuse. Hi, is everybody talking the Bangla line? Could you please help me out from them? This is a Bengali interpreter. Nobody listen to me. Everybody talking.
Okay, thank you for
Okay.
that.
Thank you. I think someone, Carson and the team will be assisting you. Thank you. So with my daughter Zoe, when we went trick-or-treating this year for Halloween because of her costume and everything, we did not bring the eye gaze device with us. So instead, we used a like a 4-button switch that when you pressed on it, it set different phrases. And one of them was her character's phrase. She's miraculous ladybug. Another one was like trick or treat. Another one was like some other phrase. It says the thing says spots on. So she basically was able to use that when we were out trick-or-treating instead of bringing her eye gaze device with her, because it was inhibiting like her costume as well as like just we're in a tight space going around. So yes, we did use a mid-tech device with voice output for my daughter, even though she has a very high-tech device she uses on a regular basis. But thanks for asking, Lindsay.
Of course.
So in this next slide, we wanted to show you the spectrum of the assistive technology tools. So low-tech tools are tools that do not have a battery or require much training, right? They're readily available to use, and they are really important for students to have to use. Sometimes we forget about that and we jump right to all the high-tech stuff. The high-tech stuff is great, but all of these tools are considered assistive technology tools. So, and sometimes, right, we have some students using just a printout board as a low-tech tool for communication, as well as using their typical device that they have that's a high-tech. So my daughter was using something mid-tech because it was battery operated. So when there's a battery, it's considered mid-tech. Mid-tech and low-tech tools are easy to maintain, easy to use, very simple for parents and caretakers and support staff at the school to learn how to use. We go to high-tech. High-tech does a lot more, but along with it comes with the need to charge it, more training we have to provide, and more maintenance, right? So everyone has to understand we have to charge the device and get them ready for the student to use. So again, a combination of everything is a great way to go. Okay, myth number 2. An AT device and service that works for one child will work for all children. So we get this very often, where and it's very common. My child has a disability that's the same disability as someone I met at some event, and they told me their child was using this assistive technology, et cetera, et cetera. So the fact is this: recommended assistive technology device and services must be individualized to the specific needs of the student. So even though a child may or two people may have the same diagnosis, right? The assistive technology device and services may not be the same and may not, excuse me, may not even be the same when your own child changes and grows and goes from middle school to high school or elementary to middle school. So this is something we have to keep in mind. AT device and services is going to be individualized to specific needs. And so, Lindsay, your son Reese uses AT, right?
Yes, he does. And when he started, when he was in elementary school, the first assistive technology tool that he used was an adapted pencil and adaptive paper. That is considered assistive technology. Then, when he was evaluated, he was recommended and started to use an iPad with a keyboard and a PDF um, program called Claro PDF, where he can evaluate um, what he needs to know by scanning a worksheet, and then he would be able to annotate it on the worksheet.
Mm.
He also used something called MathPad Pro. So he had difficulty writing numerical equations or lining up his numbers. So it was a digital graph paper that he can plot down his addition and subtraction. So it was very helpful. So both of those programs allowed him to participate in his elementary school program. And
Okay.
now he's in middle school. So he's now using a Chromebook to use for his assistive technology device to help with his writing. So as he moved up, the device changed from
Mm.
low tech to medium tech, all the way to the Chromebook that he uses with Google Suite.
Very, very, thank you. And does he also so now in middle school, he's using, he's doing different math like graphing. What
Yeah.
does he use, for graphing for math now in middle school?
So we are exploring going back to a digital program, but right now his math teachers actually want him to use low tech solutions. So he's using enlarged graph paper, and then
Okay.
his teacher adapts it and puts it in quadrants because they really want to make sure that he does understand the skill set to line it up. And if it's not legible, then they're going to explore going back to that digital graph paper that's available as a Chrome extension.
That's great. Thank you, Lindsay. Thanks for sharing. And it looks like they are individualizing the specific needs specific to Reese's, needs to for him to be successful.
Right. And you know what's unique about it is now that he's in middle school, he can advocate for himself. So he doesn't want to
Mm,
necessarily go right to the computer program. He would prefer to do it on paper like his peers, but he knows if that doesn't work for him, he always has his Chromebook as a tool to use for writing when he needs it, because he's able to produce so much more with that Chromebook with assistive technology than his handwriting.
thank you. Thank you, Lindsay. So we are going to move on to myth number 3. So myth number 3 is AT devices and services are only needed for the academic classroom and only for use at school. So this is a common myth we see. And the fact is the AT device should be used across different environments, which may include the home. So it is really important that this conversation is something that to have with your IEP team. The learner's AT device should be used across environments, as I stated, because we know the student may need access to their AT device to work on their homework, to perhaps communicate at church or at community events or even at aftercare, or utilize it at visiting their grandma's house to either work on their work or their project, as well as maintain communication. But this is a decision that we is through your IEP, and it should be indicated on the IEP during your meeting with the IEP team. And it's something to definitely discuss with your IEP team, like, hey, the assistive technology for my child needs to be used in all these other settings besides just in the school. So it's definitely a conversation, but the myth is that AT stays at school, and that is wrong. The fact is the AT device should be used across all environments, and it's something to discuss with the IEP team. Okay. Oh, wait, did we? Oh, yeah, here. Myth number 4. So we're going to share a little bit about accessible technology. So accessible technology and AT are the same. That's the myth. But guess what? It is not the same. So accessible technology and AT are not the same thing. So accessible technology is like closed captioning that you see using a magnifier on your phone, or even using speech to text, which, let's say you're texting someone, you might just send a message to your son while you're doing something, your hands are not available. You can tap dictation and you can say the text and it will send it in a type it out for you and send it. Enlarging your text on your phone so you can see. As I'm gotten older, I have to do that. My font is a little bit bigger, but those are all called built-in features that are accessible to everyone. These features are created for anyone and everyone to use. Now, assistive technology is not just one tool or one thing. It may include an accessible technology, but it's oftentimes a combination of tools and supports, different devices or different software to support, again, the student's individual and specific needs to succeed. But wanted to just share with you some of the most popular and most easily accessible accessibility features available to all New York City public school students. And we include text to speech, speech to text, which is dictation, text to speech. The first one is where the words speak back to you. So as it's going across the page, you can hear while you're reading the words read aloud. In large font, bold text using magnifiers, and predictive text. I know I use predictive text all the time when I'm writing emails as well as text messages. It comes up and I use the predictive text, to be more productive. But these are all accessible on the right-hand side. You can search on the iPad operating system by going to App Accessibility. For Chromebooks, you can search Chrome Accessibility. And for Windows, you can search Windows accessibility features on these operating systems to learn more. But each of these three have similar accessibility features available for all New York City public school students.
Excuse me, anybody unmuted us in the Arabic room because we cannot hear anybody. We cannot hear each other even. Is anybody unmuted us?
Carson, or I don't know, is George? Hold on one second. Let me
Thank you.
see.
Colleen, this
Yeah.
is David.
Yeah.
If you continue with the presentation, I'll try to reach Carson on the side,
Okay. Or George,
And
or
also,
George.
okay.
I'm sorry, this is Korean interpreter. I think I've been interpreting, but I think we might have been like muted. All of us were muted because another interpreter, she cannot pick up. She's been trying to take over for
Okay.
past 15 minutes. She hasn't been able to.
Thank you all for that feedback. I'm going to try to get in touch with Carson and a few others. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Okay. And I'm texting them in the interpretation. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to continue, and I apologize to those who are not able to follow because of the interpretation, but we're working on it. I'm getting in touch with the people. So it looks like he said someone might have left the room, so the interpreters. So that might be what happened. I'm not sure. But if you left your room, please try to go back into your room. Okay. Thank you. So myth number 5, if a child doesn't want to use, this is the last one, if a child does not want to use their AT, it is a sign that the child isn't ready for AT and it should be removed. So fact is, that is not true. The IEP team must work together to understand the student's point of view and find out what is causing it. This really involves listening to the student or your child. And this includes everyone, the parent as well as the school staff, because perhaps there are some. Hi, interpreter, can you mute yourself? Perhaps there are some other sensory needs that need to be addressed. So, for example, this has happened to my daughter. Sometimes she is not using her eye gaze device to communicate, and she instead would just lean her head back and start staring at the fluorescent lights, right? And she's frustrated. So usually it happens because she's bored, and it took us a while to figure that out. But my daughter can use her AAC device, but she sometimes resists and she just stops and stares. And she's actually called is seeking visual stimulation from the lights because she sees it flickering. And what happened was we realized after I was listening to this and figuring this out with another provider that I met, um, you know, she actually needs a visual break. So there was she if we give her a visual sensory break, right, that she needed, and she was able to come back and attend to her lesson, to using her device, and etc. So this is something to work on with your team. If you notice it, or if the teacher's saying that, just let's all work together, listen to the student, and figure this out. This also happened in high school. I know of a high school student that also was not using a math program, sort of like what Lindsay was saying. They want to try to do it without the AT device, and the parent wanted their child to use the math program, but the child was like, he's in high school though. He's like, no, I don't want to use it. I want to do it without the program. So the school, they met with the counselor, the assistant principal, the parent, and the student, and they talked it out to try to figure it out. He's still using his AT for other things, but the math program is there as a backup, and he's now not using that math program in high school, and he is successful. He's passing more than just passing. He was getting 80s in his grades. So it's just something to keep in mind that it's not oh, if this, then that means that's the end of it. We shouldn't use it. It's called things may change, right? The child may have different skill set, may want to try something else. They want to, use the other program because they want to figure it out a different way. Or sometimes they have some sensory regulation things that they may need to help reset them so that they can start over. And it's really important to communicate with your team all the time. And that's what's going to lead into the next slide, which is, and I want to share is, please always be open. Be open to have conversations with the staff, with the school. Listen to your child, observing all forms of communication that your child is trying to tell you, such as body language, quote, quote, behaviors, right? That you're seeing. These are all ways that your child and the student is communicating with everyone. And sometimes we have to let go of our own, sometimes expectations, and really listen and hone in to what the student and or the child is saying. So these are all these supports are for the student. So we have to pay attention to how they feel, how they interact, what they like, what they dislike, and what motivates them. Because all of this together is what will help the student become
So,
successful.
Colleen, I wanted to
Yeah.
add with that as just exactly what you said. I had parent teacher conferences last week, and my son has assistive technology and he's very concrete. So he knows that he can use it for English language arts for writing assignments, but he didn't know that he can use it in social studies and science when his teachers were having difficulty reading what his short answers or whatever materials he was writing. So I had to have a conversation with his teachers. My son has assistive technology, which you saw that was on his IEP, but he doesn't know that he's allowed to use it because he doesn't see any other student using their Chromebook. Even though all the students at his school do have access to one, he didn't want to use it. So we had to have a conversation with his teachers and with him to just nudge him a little bit to say, you're allowed to use this whenever you want. It's not making you different. It's not making you cheating, being perceived as you're cheating. It's giving you a way to participate in your curriculum. And it's okay. You won't get in trouble, because he didn't know that. He thought if he took out his Chromebook during a class when nobody else had it, that it wasn't okay. So sometimes you just need to have a conversation with your child,
Yep.
meet with the school staff, and all have a working plan to make sure that your child and the teacher knows when it's appropriate and how they can use their assistive technology in the various classroom environments.
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. That is such a good one to summarize what we just went in the last slide. So thank you so much. It is about the communication, as you said, with your child as well as with the staff. And it was just he just didn't know. Right. And so it's good now the staff is able to support, hey, you can use this here, and they're aware of that. So thank you for sharing that. So now the we're almost at the end, and at this slide, I wanted to just kind of talk to you about. So, what do I do, right? If my child does not have assistive technology, and you're listening to us, and you're like, maybe my child um, can, get assistive technology. Maybe assistive technology is right for my child. Maybe this is what they need to help them, right? So what do you do? So what you can do is the first thing is go and have a conversation with your students' IEP team, okay? Go talk to the teacher, speak to any related service providers, this is anyone, school psychologist, the paraprofessional, the family worker, the social worker. If you need to, you can involve the parent coordinator at the school, the assistant principal, or the principal, but definitely speak with the staff at your school of people who work with your child and say, hey, I went to this presentation and I learned a little bit about assistive technology. Is this something we can consider for my child? And you can have it, just start the conversation and they will take it from there. And what happens is this, assistive technology is a consideration that can be made at the school level, as well as if they need to, if they cannot, they can refer to our team to come in to do an evaluation. So many school-based professionals in the building have the ability to make an appropriate assistive technology recommendation, because we've been working on building this capacity with everyone, with all the different school districts as well as all the providers in the building to be able to do that. But if the team feels they cannot, they will submit for a referral. They will discuss that path with you, and we will come in and conduct the evaluation for your child to determine if they need assistive technology. Now, what happens is this, assistive technology, even after if you have been considered or if you have AT on your IEP or not, I want you to keep in mind that this process of assistive technology consideration must be made every year, every IEP. If your child has a 504 plan, same thing, every 504 plan, the questions that the team members have to ask, and you as parents and students are part of the IEP team. These are things to ask. These are just sample questions. Is the student currently able to learn independently and consistently? Is the student currently able to demonstrate what they have learned? Does the student currently use technology and our learning strategies? And how successful is the student with current technologies and our strategies in place? These are sample and simple basic questions, but these are questions that must be asked every single year because they're very powerful and they trigger a really important conversation about whether technology that's currently in place is supporting your child, right? And is helpful. Or maybe we need to change something. Maybe we need to change it up. Maybe we need to go just like in Lindsay's son's case, Reese, he changed from an iPad to a Chromebook, which is completely two different devices. And maybe your child doesn't have AT, but is using the cart at school. And maybe the teacher notices that your child does better when he's typing his answers or when he speaks his answer, but he has trouble writing. So, and that's a consideration. So every year, I just want to empower you that you have the right to ask the team, did you make an assistive technology consideration for my child? So, and you can propose these questions to them. And that is something you can do every year. And it's ongoing every year, even if they're using it. Okay. So I'm at the near the end of my presentation, and I wanted to give you these takeaways. So assistive technology, as I mentioned, is a variety of tools that range from low tech to mid tech to high tech. It's not just one type of device. It's a combination, right, of different things. And a child may have used low tech, mid tech, and high tech as well. Okay. Low tech are things that are not bad, no batteries, like non-battery operated, like highlighters, uh, post-its. Mid-tech are devices that use a battery and they're very simple to use. And high-tech devices are more complex devices that involve charging, they're computer type, and they use different software and they can connect to other things sometimes. Now, number two, assistive technology is not the same like accessibility tools and technology, but the student may be successful with just accessibility technology. So want you to keep that in mind. And a student may use both. They may use a combination of some specialized tools as well as accessible technology for them to be successful. And that is okay. But you have access and your child has access to the available accessibility technology that is there. Assistive technology is individualized to the specific needs of the student. It's not a one size fits all. We always look at what is specific and what does your child need to be successful. And the one I just went over is it is considered assistive technology is considered at every IEP meeting or 504 plan. So at minimum annually, remember, advocate and ask the team, have you made any assistive technology considerations for my child this year? Okay, start the conversation if it's never started. And the last piece I really want to give you and take away is that assistive technology is most successful when everyone works together. So assistive technology alone does not do anything. It's just a device and a computer and software. When it works is when everyone in the team that works with your child is aware, is implementing and supporting it, and everyone is on board. This includes the principal, the assistant principal, all the different teachers, any of the paraprofessionals, any IEP teachers, related service providers, and I mean everyone, guidance counselor, who everyone in the building, everyone works together to support and advocate and implement assistive technology. That's where we see success. And that's where we see students being able to be successful accessing their curriculum. So for more information on assistive technology, you can go to the New York City Public School page, website, and you can search under special education supports and services and search for assistive technology. Here is also a QR code. You can scan that with your phone by turning on your camera and holding it up to the QR code. You should be able to access our public-facing assistive technology Google website, which provides a lot of resources that you can utilize. Or if you have more questions and wanted to learn a little bit more about what we talked about as well. I'm going to leave it up here for a little bit and so that you can scan. Okay. And lastly, here is our information. So if you have any general inquiries, you can email us at either of these email addresses. For students who are in District 132 charter schools and non-public schools, you can send us an email at catteam@schools@nyc.gov. For students who are in D75 schools or CPSE schools, you can send an email to D75AT team at schools@nyc.gov. But Either one will get to us and we will get back to you. Okay, our team will answer it. So feel free to contact us if you have any general questions or etc. And that is the end of my presentation. I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. And Lindsay, thank you for being here as well.
Thank you for having me. It was our pleasure.
Okay.